Hey, am I audible?
Hi, Subbu. Hi, Sanjay.
Hey,
Hi, Shrikant, Sanjay.
okay.
I can't start my video because the host has stopped it. That's okay. I think totally 19 participants. It says they have, I think so many registrations are there, I think.
No, these are people who joined. We have totally 800 registrations.
Oh yeah, attendees. Okay.
Yeah, so already 21 people have joined.
Okay.
We'll probably be expecting around, I think usually around 150 to 200 people join these sessions.
Oh, that could be quite a number.
I'm seeing somebody who's joined as Prateek Praveen.
Yeah, that is Sanjay's assistant.
He's an intern who's helped me a bit.
Okay.
He'll be running through some slides.
Yep.
Yeah, Subbu, Sanjay, you can now switch on your video.
Okay. Good. Guru and BBMP in particular. Belief literally stands for BNP enabling learning in each function of BBMP. So this, in fact, we started last year, I think in the middle of last year, in the middle of pandemic. We realized that large number of citizens are not aware of how the governance is done in Bangalore by BBMP. And so that was the reason why we started this belief series. Very eminent persons have come and spoken to us, and we continue that series now. That is because of the corona all-round gloom in the city, but life must go on. And so we'll continue with this discussion on the governance in BBMP. Today's session is on finance. How the finance in BBMP is managed, or should I say mismanaged, because we hear more about mismanagement of finance than management of finance by BBMP in the media. So we have two speakers today. One is Srikanth, the founder member of BNP and the General Secretary, and then Sanjay Malhotra. I think Srikanth is very familiar to you. He constantly talks to us. Just for the people who may be new, Srikanth is an MBA, and of course, he's also a BTech from BITS Pilani, and he has worked in companies like Ernst & Young, and he's also the founder and the present director of Veda Advisors. He manages that company. And of course, he was also the president of Bangalore Apartment Federation, and till recently, now he has handed over the mantle to others. Now he's more focused on Bangalore Navnirmana Party. He is being a finance professional. He'll be taking us through the financial aspects of governance in BBMP, how the money is earned and how the money is spent. As you know, the BBMP has spent about 10,000 crores per year on an average for last 5 years. Now, he will take us how this money has been received by BBMP and how it has been spent. We'll get some insight into the financial management of BBMP. Now, Sanjay is a true IT professional. He has worked in companies like Bharti Airtel, and then he is also the founder of many startups. He's also a mentor to some startups. In addition to that, he he's a director of operations in many global companies in his last 20 years of service. And he's the co-founder of Mindshift Apps and Solutions. It is an analytics company. And his proficiency or expertise in analytics has helped us in understanding the finance of BBMP in last 1 year. In fact, in BNP, when we started looking at BBMP about a year ago, we are aware about the general governance, but finance was still a black box for us. And when we started looking deeper into it, thanks to Sanjay and his analytics capabilities, we are able to find certain horror stories in BBMP in last 5 years, how the contracts were given and how the finance were mismanaged. We also have an intern Pratik to help Sanjay during his presentation. We will spend about first 30 minutes about the, going through the BBM finances, first by Srikanth and then by Sanjay and Pratik. Thereafter, we'll open it for question answers. Since there are a large number of participants today, we'll spend about half an hour, 45 minutes to question answers so that we can clarify doubts as much as possible. So with this introduction, now I would like to open up the floor. So Srikanth, over to you.
Thank you, Subbu. Namaskara, ellarigu, suswagata. Welcome to this 5th session of the BNP Believe series. ಈ ಅಧಿವೇಶನವು BBMP ಹಣಕಾಸು ಬಗ್ಗೆ. That is, this session is about the finance of BBMP. ಮೊದಲನೆಯಾಗಿ BBMP ತನ್ನ ಖಾತೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊನೆಯದಾಗಿ ಸಿದ್ಧಪಡಿಸಿ 3 ವರ್ಷಗಳಾಯಿತು ಎಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು? How many of you know that it's been 3 years, more than 3 years since BBMP prepared its accounts? Audit na bidi ನೀವು, internal audit na bidi, preparing the accounts has been more than 3 years. If this were a public company like an Infosys or a Biocon in which you are a shareholder, is this something that will be acceptable for you? You don't even need to be a shareholder. BBMP, we are all shareholders. ಹೇಗೆ? ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಹಣ, ನಮ್ಮ ತೆರಿಗೆಗಳನ್ನು BBMP ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿ ಆಡಳಿತ ನಡೆಸುತ್ತಿದೆ. It is our money, our taxes, which BBMP is misspending and misgoverning. So I'm going to take you all through a quick presentation on the BBMP finances. I'm going to share my screen. ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅದು, ಸುಬ್ಬು?
You can see clear.
Okay. So why is this in such a big mess? Let's look at the various taxes. Adaya terige, that is income tax, GST, Asti terige, property tax. We pay different types of taxes. Where does all this go? So first, what we need to understand is fundamentals. The income tax that we pay directly goes to the central government. Idu Kendra Sarkarige hogutte idu. GST gets split into 2 parts. Central GST, state GST. Out of 18%, most services and products which come under that bracket, 9% goes to the central GST, which directly goes to the central government. The other 9% goes to state GST. That is, it goes to the state government directly. Other than that, corporate tax directly goes to the central government. Customs goes to the central government. Excise duty goes to the state government. Stamp duty goes to the state government. Things like property tax, solid waste management cess, etc. These are all collected directly by the municipality. That is the property tax that we pay every year. It directly goes to BBMP, Brihat Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike. So that's the first thing that we all need to understand. The different types of taxes that we pay, who collects it? So that's the most important thing that we all need to understand right at the beginning. So now let's look at BBMP. We only have the accounts, as I said, last for 31st March 2018. Beyond that, we don't have any accounts. So let's go with accounts that have been prepared, that have been audited. So these are the revenue streams of BBMP. Property tax and advertisement tax, 1,240 crores. Licensing fees, shops and many of the shops, corporates, they have to have a license to operate under the Shops and Establishment Act. So that money directly goes to BBMP. Then there are all these certificates that they give, a birth certificate, death certificate. This is all prepared by BBMP, and we have to pay an amount which is directly going to BBMP. All this put together is a little over 1,000 crores. Then we have various types of cesses. Solid waste management cess that we pay every year. We pay, there's something called as library cess, beggary cess, but solid waste management cess is the biggest among this. That's also a little over 1,100 crores. And then BBMP has its own other forms of income. They have municipal properties which they rent out. They get interest income from various investments they make. That's all small amounts. And then look at that last one, grants from state and central government. 4,500 koti, 4,500 crores came as grants from the state and the central government. Out of this, a large part of the grant came from the state government. Central government, the number was not given in the audited accounts, but I think it must be around 400, 500 crores. And the state government would have given about 4,000 crores. ಒಟ್ಟು 8,000 ಕೋಟಿ 8,000 ಕೋಟಿಗೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಆದಾಯ ಬಿಬಿಎಂಪಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ. This is 2018. Now look at this. Out of 8,250 crores, 4,545 crores comes as grants from the state and central government, which is almost 55%. Only 45% is generated by BBMP on its own. So what does that mean? Is BBMP dependent on the state? Is that why the state government controls BBMP? Is that why the MLAs impose their authority in BBMP? And here is removing one big myth for all of you. That is not the reason why the BBMP is controlled by the MLAs or the corporators are controlled by the MLAs. This is a big misconception because people think that BBMP's revenues are dependent on the state government. Why am I saying this? 55% of the revenues come from state government, or at least 50% comes from the state government. So why am I saying that it's not dependent on the state government? ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುವ ಎಲ್ಲ ತೆರಿಗೆಗಳನ್ನು ಅವರು ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರಗಳಿಗೂ ವಿತರಿಸಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. That is, a good part of the money that the central government receives, they have to distribute it to the state governments. The central government tomorrow cannot say that I won't give money to Karnataka. If they say that, the Supreme Court will intervene and dismiss the central government. It is unconstitutional for the center to not distribute money to the states. They can always play around a little bit here and there, plus or minus 5-10%. But if they do something which is very, very unfair distribution, it will be deemed unconstitutional. And I'm mincing no words. The Supreme Court has the right to dismiss the central government if it does something unconstitutional. One way to argue it is saying that the state government is dependent on the central government. The state government is not dependent on the central government. State government receiving money from the central government is its right. It's the obligation of the central government to distribute money to the states. In the same way, ಇದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರಗಳು ಕೂಡ ತನ್ನ ಆದಾಯದಿಂದ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಹಣ ಮುನಿಸಿಪಾಲಿಟೀಸ್, ಪುರಸಭೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಪಂಚಾಯತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ವಿತರಿಸಬೇಕು. That is, the state government has to distribute money to all the municipalities and panchayats. They can't say that we will not. If they do that, the courts can again intervene and dismiss the state government. So let's remove this big misconception that BBMP is dependent. It's not dependent. It is its right to get money from the state government because the taxes that we pay, some part of it is used by the central government, some part of it has to be used by the state government, and a good part of it has to be used by the municipalities and panchayats, which is all about our localities. So I hope this is clear. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೀನಿ. So this is very, very important for us to understand because much of our misunderstanding stems from this. People think that, oh, MLAs have a role to play because the BBMP is dependent on the state government. It is not. MLAs actually have no role to play in this distribution. The MLAs have nothing to do with the municipality except for one or two small things here and there, which was anyway covered in the previous week's in our belief sessions themselves. So now coming to this 8,250 crores that we talked about, this is money that belongs to BBMP, and BBMP has the right to spend it. BBMP council decides how this money has to be spent. I hope this is clear. MLAs have no role to play in this. Can the state government tomorrow say, I won't give 4,500 crores, but I'll give only 4,200 crores or 4,000 crores? Yes, that is possible. Can 8,250 crores become 8,000 crores, 8,500 crores? Yes, very possible. But can the state government say, I'll give only 500 crores or 1,000 crores? Not possible at all. A case can be filed, or even the courts can intervene of their own accord and dismiss the state government then and there. That is our constitution. We'll move on to the next part. Let's look at where is this 8,250 crores being spent by BBMP. Idu elli hogta ide ee hana. So first is BBMP has a lot of staff, Paura Karmikas, the assistant engineers, the many employees that they have. Annually, they spend about little over 500 crores for that. Then you have office, general and administrative expenses. An organization of that size, so many offices they need to have. You have to run those offices, electricity bill, the administrative expenses, the rents that they have to pay for those buildings, etc. That's about 735 crores. So about 1,250 crores is spent on this. And there's a small amount that's spent on interest expenses and other small things. So which means they have 7,000 crores. You leave with 1,250 crores out of 8,250 crores. 7,000 koti avarge ide to spend on what? About 2,000 crores they spend on repairs and maintenance of BBMP assets, pothole filling, footpath maintenance. So these kind of things are small things that keep happening, but it all adds up across wards. That's about 2,000 crores. This is the total expenditure of BBMP, 3,354 crores out of 8,250 crores. I can understand a big question coming from all of you. Where is the other 5,000 crores? BBMP's income is 8,250 crores in 2018. Expenses are 3,350 crores, almost 4,800, 4,900 crores. What happened to that? Here is the whole thing. BBMP invests money in a lot of new projects. BBMP not only has to maintain the existing assets of Bengaluru, it also has to create new assets. It has to lay new roads. It has to lay new footpaths. It has to construct some new buildings, etc. So the new projects that they have to do, they do not come under the category of expenses. It's classified as capital expenditure. Capital expenditure andre, we spend once. So for example, you buy a TV in your home. You might spend 1 lakh for the TV. But the TV is expected to have a life of 5 years, for example. Which means it's not an expense that you're incurring for this year alone. It probably has a life of 5 years. So which means you're incurring an expense for 5 years put together. So technically, if you were to prepare your own accounts, what will you do? You will depreciate that TV over 5 years. You will, while you spend 1 crore, 1 lakh today, you will say 20,000 is the expense for the first year, 20,000 for the second year, and so on up to 5 years. In the same way, if BBMP invests 1 crore on a road today, they won't consider it as a 1 crore expense because that road project is expected to last for at least 5 years. Technically, it should be much longer. And practically, it's hardly 6 months. So we leave those technicalities aside. But that 1 crore, if they spend on a road, they will depreciate it over 5 years, which means they will recognize the 1 crore as 20 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 20 lakhs over 5 years. And it appears as depreciation every year in the books of BBMP or in the books of any corporate. So 4,896 crores, that was the surplus, almost 5,000 crores. The depreciation and prior period items, that is some expenses that you had incurred but you didn't properly write it off, all that put together was 4,000 crores. So that left BBMP with a total surplus even after investing in this. So what happens is every year, this money, cash that they get, they will invest in new projects. So for example, In this year, I'll shortly come to how much of new projects did they invest in. But the total surplus was about 870 crores, almost 900 crores. And you know what happens to this 870 crores? This is the net cash addition to BBMP's accounts. That is, BBMP has cash and bank balances. This 900 crores almost got added as cash and bank balance to BBMP's accounts because they did not spend this. I don't want to get into book accounting versus cash. Cash flow statement is slightly different from book accounting, but more or less they should roughly match. There's always
Because
a
you have
timing.
about 10 minutes left, huh?
Okay. So there is more or less a correlation between the two, but not exactly direct. So almost about 900 crores of cash that got added to BBMP in this year. Now let's look at the BBMP balance sheet. Balance sheet gives us the health of a organization. So today, when we do a diagnostics checkup, we will get your BP is this much, your sugar is this much, etc. What does it indicate? It indicates our health. In the same way, the balance sheet is what indicates the health of any organization, including our municipality, which is BBMP. So look at that first thing, fund balance and reserves. This is what is called as the accumulated profits of BBMP over a period of time. 20,000 crores almost. So they have accumulated profits of almost 20,000 crores. What that means, it's actually a very healthy organization. Every year it's generating profits, which is adding to its health. They also have taken loans from banks, which is about 1,200 crores. But generally in corporate parlance, this is called as a debt equity ratio. For almost about 20,000 crores of equity you only have 1,200 crores of loans. Usually in banking parlance, you can have a debt is to equity ratio of 1:1. That is, if you have equity and reserves of 20,000 crores, you can actually borrow 20,000 crores to support that. But here, they have taken a loan of only 1,200 crores, which means the debt equity ratio is very, very low. They don't need to take a loan, but generally taking a loan is not a bad sign, as long as you're able to service that loan. And then there is something called as working capital. They always take advance from contractors. There's something called as earnest money deposit. They also hold back 5% of the payment to contractors to ensure that they do good work, etc. And then they also take services from the state government to whom they have payables outstanding. That is part of what is called as a working capital, which are payables or which are liabilities that they owe other people. Now comes the important part, the assets. What are the assets of BBMP? Look at this, 23,000 crores, 22,998 crores is what is the source. This much money BBMP has generated from different sources, including its own reserves, loans taken, and advances taken from people. Where are they deploying it? So as I said, every year BBMP invests in new projects. They appear as fixed assets or capital work in progress. So in 2018, they invested almost 3,800 crores in fresh projects. Part of which it is appearing as capital work in progress. Part of it will go into fixed assets. And even after investing in that, they ended up with a surplus. And then there is something called as working capital, where they also have receivables. For example, many people might not have paid their property tax or cess, or corporates might not have paid their license fees, etc. Those are all things appearing as receivables. This is actually not a good sign, because we have 1,884 crores of receivables out of an annual BBMP's own revenues of about 3,500 crores, which is almost 50%, which is what we call as 50% out of 360 days is 180 days. So 180 days of receivables means it's not good, but it's not very bad. Usually it has to be 90 days. It is 180 days. Given the overall balance sheet of BBMP, it's not a very bad thing. But the last one is the most important thing. Look at cash and bank balances. This is cash that is residing in BBMP's bank accounts to the tune of almost 4,000 crores. You all have to put this in your mind. I'm talking of 2018. By now, this amount would probably be 5,000 crores. I don't know. Might be much bigger. We just don't know the accounts. In 2018, it was 4,000 crores of cash and bank balances. You know what this balance sheet indicates as a financial analyst? It's a very, very healthy balance sheet. But clearly there is something dramatically wrong. Contractors are not paid for years together. Contractors are crying. There are contractors, in fact, Sanjay, I would want Sanjay to talk about it. There are contractors who are not paid for 3-4 years. When we go to ward committee meetings and ask them, can you allocate some funds for some projects here? No funds, no accounts, no audit, no transparency. And more than 50% of the projects are given to one single agency, KRADL, without any tendering process. What exactly is happening? This balance sheet is a very, very healthy balance sheet. This expense account and income account is a very, very healthy income and expenditure statement. But our BBMP seems to be perennially in some problem or the other. Why is that the case? That's primarily because of this reason. It's time for us to ask questions. If professionals were to manage this organization can be run very efficiently, can be run very professionally, can be run very transparently, can be run where many, many projects can be undertaken, and BBMP can be a very healthy organization, can pay contractors on time, doesn't have to go through agencies like KRADL where money gets siphoned off. It can be made very healthy. Why is it not happening? Transparency is possible, efficiency is possible. It just needs political will, which is not there either at the state government level or at the BBMP level. All the existing parties, BJP, Congress, JDS, sorry, whichever party you support, it doesn't matter to us. All these three parties at the state level and at the city level have looted the city to death. They have just bled the city. They have just run the city dry and all this money has gone into, you all know this. And this balance sheet and this accounts actually shows where it has gone. I will now pass this on to Sanjay to talk about even projects. It's not like the projects are not happening. Projects are happening, and we did a deep dive analysis on that. Sanjay, can you please take people through the citizen portal and talk to them about the various projects? This 3,000, 4,000 crores every year, about 20,000 crores over a 5-year period, which are invested in projects. I want Sanjay to take people through on what is this 20,000 crores and how is it getting spent. Over to you, sir.
Some 3 people have raised their hands. I request them to hold their questions till Sanjay finishes the presentation. Then end of that, we can take all the questions.
All right. Thank you very much, Srikanth, for this introduction and great update. I'll share my screen. Just a minute. Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible, Sanjay.
All right. I'll quickly start with what we are going to talk about in this presentation. First, introduction. As Srikanth said, there is a lot of money spent and we don't know where it goes, how is it spent, etc. So we at BNP, what we did, we went through the BBMP Integrated Financial Management System, IFMS, and we tried to extract data which is meaningfully understood, and we started to classify the data. And we got about 5 years data from the IFMS. There were several technical hurdles which we fulfilled through, back-end stuff which we did with the website, and a lot of manual work through interns. Finally, we came up with a portal where we have posted all the data, and which is available here as I'm showing on the screen. The link will be available. It is on our BNP website. This gives the data of the projects. This does not include other ad hoc expenses which BBMP has, and as Srikanth explained. But majority of the expense, I think about 80% plus, would be on the projects, and most of it would be capitalized, as Srikanth also mentioned. Now you can go to this portal, and I'll not go through in detail on the portal, but I'll explain how it works. It's very simple. Once you land up on the portal, you can select your ward. And you have three filters: budget, year. So you've got 5 years data sorted out. Status of the project. So we've classified the project, whether it is executed, not executed yet, or it's not yet started, or under execution. All these three flags are available. So you see a listing of all the projects here. So we can remove the filter and see how it works. So we've got this. Right now I'm showing Ward 37, Yeshwantpur, just for example's sake. We can take any ward here. And we see the projects listed. We have flagged them executed or under execution. We have also classified them under what type of project it is. It could be more than one classification of a project, like drains and roads, etc. The budgeted amount, which is the approved amount, work order date, and we've got more details in the next click. So it's loading. Is my new tab visible? Hopefully. Okay.
Yes, Sanjay.
Yeah. So in the details, you can see who's the nodal officer of the ward, etc., his phone number, etc. Then you can see the BBMP project number, budget amount, budget head, description of the project, total expenses, how many bills have been raised from this project. Total expense means how many bills till now have been raised, which is for this project we see is 14 crores. And bills paid, how many bills are paid? So all 5 have been paid. Average payment delay is 38 days. So this is a pretty fast payment project. We also see work order date, execution date, which is the last bill paid date we take as execution date. Contractor name, prime contractor name is also mentioned. And sometimes we have got the mobile numbers also. So this is the level of detail you can see at a project by project level. Let's go back. You can click on any project and you'll get the details. Also, you'll see projects under execution as we talk. You can change the ward. You can also see the summary of the ward, which shows total projects approved, number of projects, amount of the project, and the projects which are executed. So out of 17, 9 have been executed till now. And approval amount was 39 crores across all the projects, and 23 crores have been spent. This data is updated till November 2020. We've got updates till February 2021 for some of the wards which have been updated by BBMP. So not all wards we get updates every month, but we try to keep this online every month so that you don't get much of it. Although there's not much of a difference every month, which is caused. Projects are spanning across several months. All right. So with this, I will move to. So this is the data we accumulated for last 5 years. I'm going to show you some analysis of this data which we've got hold of. Right now on the BNP portal, you'll see individual projects and the details of the projects. But now we're going to see the summaries of various projects, etc. So first, if you see, just a minute, I'll just close this box. Yeah. So zone-wise, so we've got 8 zones in Bangalore. The project amount spent in last 4 years, this is 2017 to 21. We've taken data which is clean data. About 30,000 projects are part of the 4 years which have been spent. Now the uneven distribution you see, South zone has got spent 3,000 crores while Dasarahalli 748 crores. So there's already a skew of 1:4 across zones. Now, we don't know the reason here. This is just, we are presenting data which could have a meaning, which we go underlying data, but this is actual data. This is the spread of expenses happening across zones. Completion rates. This is showing 5 years of projects, number of projects which are completed and out of the total projects which were approved. So if you just see 2016 projects, so financially 2016 approvals, which is 5 years ago approved, we still have 22% projects which are not completed. Now, where did the budgeted amount go? We have no idea. Whether the amount was available, I don't know. But 22% of the budgeted amount has not been spent. We'll see the details in the next few slides. Is the chart getting blocked by my panel here? Hide this. All right, just move it around. If you see the size of the project, so average size, so there are two types of projects in the portal, in the IFMS system. One is non-ward central projects and then ward projects. Typically, the central projects are much larger in size. So if you see non-wards is basically central projects. Average size of a project is 1.3 crores. While a ward project average size is about 12 lakhs. So it's about a 10 times difference of the size of the project. If you see the total amounts, central projects have accumulated amounts spent up to about 6,700 crores, and the ward projects 15,000 crores. So it's about 30% of the, more than 30% of the total expense is in the central projects. This is just to give you some numbers, give you a feel of type of projects which we are running, the size of the projects. Okay, now let's see how these projects are awarded to contractors. So we have one big contractor, KRIDL, as Srikanth explained. This is a contractor without any tendering process. Contracts are given to this. Now we have split this with non-ward versus ward projects. Now we see that KRIDL is predominant in the ward projects. Ward projects are smaller in size, so perhaps they can bypass the tendering process very easily. That could be one reason. That's why the ward projects have a higher percentage of, it's almost 50-50%. And you see in 2020, it has crossed 50%. That means it exceeded. That means all other contractors put together get less amount of value of contracts than KRIDL one contractor. So it's increasing, this percentage is increasing over years. Okay. This is showing the category. Now we have categorized, as you saw in the BNP portal, we have categorized all the projects in 16 categories. Now these are the 16 categories as you see here. The completion rate, this is category wise completion rate. That means the number of projects approved and how many percentage of the projects have been executed. So we see the max is Culverts, which is 60, not just touching 60%. This is over last 4 years. This is not last year's data. This is accumulated data. And the bottommost you see are parks, new buildings, lakes, and health, which are a abysmal number of 30% and below. That means approved amount of 70% is lying wherever it is without any expenditure there. New buildings is something which is quite not understandable why the entire amount is not spent. It's literally all 98% is lying unspent. If you see ward-wise, now people may be interested to know about their own wards. We won't go through all the wards here, but top and bottom we'll see. So all the 198 wards, if you see, there's a huge dispersion of the expenses across wards. So while Ulalu, Hiroholi, Horanmavu, etc. have about 200 crore plus allotment, spent amount, not allotment. Some of the wards at the bottom are Agram, Vasantnagar, Gaganahalli, which have got about 20 crores and less. So the spread is huge. It goes from 20 to 280 crores per ward expenditure. We don't know why some wards are absolutely ignored. So this just shows the level of planning which is happening and how they're allocating the money to some of the wards which are 100 times more. Or 10 times more, sorry. Okay, this chart gives a correlation between amount spent by a ward and the percentage project completed. Percentage of the amount which is, this is amount approved versus the amounts spent. How many projects have been completed out of that approved amount? So again, there is a huge spread. We have some wards at the right side. You see Mahalakshmipuram, Jagjivan Ram Nagar, Konangkote. These wards are 60% plus completion. And some of the heavy expense wards like Ulalu, Horanmavu, etc. have less than 50% completion. That means the amounts are huge, but the completion rates are low. And there is all other wards have scattered through there. We've not mentioned all the names. But JP Park on the left side, 17, has is quite outlier. We suspect the data of JP Park is not loaded, so it could be it's as low as 5% completion. Out of the 16 categories, if you see the total expenses, roads and drains are by far the main two categories where the expenses happen, and it's about an order of magnitude higher, 10 times maybe from the other heads. So this is for the last 4 years, about 20,000 crores have been spent on roads and drains with a completion rate of 55 to 60%. Let's see the details of the other projects, which is blown up in the next slide. Sorry, just a minute. Yeah. So if you remove roads and drains, we have these other 14 categories which are spent from about. So this is not the. Sorry, let me just repeat this. I just jumped through this presentation. Sorry. Yeah, here. So here, this is the same slide of the previous data, but roads and drains have been removed. So you see the laggards are on the left side. What this chart is the same thing, it's just showing the completion percentage. And this y-axis, the coordinates, the quadrants here are showing a threshold. So left side, top are having high approved amounts, but completion rates are low, below 40%. So parks, new buildings, lakes, as you saw, have much lower completion rate, but the amounts are very high. This is the payment delay chart. So the x-axis is the number of days, average number of days taken for each ward to pay their contractors. Now, these points are all wards, but we have labeled some of the wards which are at the extremities. So the payment delays is varying from 100 days to 600 days. So that is the spread of each ward. So you see on the right side, Malasandra, Putanahalli, Sanjay Nagar, these are all 450 days approximately, more than 1.5 years payment delay. On an average, that means there'll be 10-20% projects which will be much more than 1.5 years. And there are some wards which are faster, Horamuva, etc. Now, if you see category-wise payment delays, we see emergency expense, religious, name boards, culverts, these are pretty delayed, 400 days plus. The relatively quicker payments of 100 to 200 days is seen in CCTV and solid waste management. Broadly, on an average, you see about 300 days it takes for average payment time if you see all the categories together. This is what we were talking about.
You have another 10 minutes, Sanjay.
Okay, fine. I'm almost through. So payment delays, if you see on the budget, so there are about hundreds of budget heads which BBMP operates on. And as Srikanth explained, there are grants coming and there are various other approvals done by the mayor, etc. Special grants are allotted from various budgets of state government and central government. So one of the key head is zone works, POW works. Doesn't say much, but it is one of the key heads where most of the projects happen. And the average payment delay is 524 days for that budget head. So all projects allotted in that budget head go on an average 500 days plus. And similarly, his work sanctioned by Honorable Mayor also, unfortunately, is got 500 days plus delay. There is a huge spread here. We see there is a very quick payments, comparatively quick payments in Nagarjuna works, SIP infrastructure, and State Finance Commission grant works. These are paid within 45 to 65 days. We don't know why. There could be any reason, but the spread of payment delays is hugely split up. Could be their internal process, could be a pressure, whatever. Now, we'll not go into much detail in this normalized expenses, but broadly, we wanted to analyze roads. We'll take only one category, which is the biggest category. And we did analysis on per kilometer of road in a ward. So typically, there's a correlation. As the ward for wards which have got higher number of kilometers, they've got higher budget for roads. But this correlation is only partial. We see that some of the wards at a per kilometer, like Yeshwantpur, JP Park, Kamakshipalya, are pretty high. There are 9 lakhs per kilometer, 8 to 9 lakhs. While at the bottom, you see in this bar chart, we have some of the wards like Doda, Nekundi, Hagadur, Belanduru. These wards have got large number of kilometers of roads, like 150 kilometers, 200 kilometers. So their per kilometer budget assignment is abysmally low. It's below 1 lakh. It is far below 1 lakh. It is around 20,000. 20,000 per kilometer. So compare 20,000 per kilometer to 9 lakhs per kilometer. Without going to the area, you can expect how the roads would be in those areas. It looks like a planning problem here. While KRIDL is the biggest contractor, way above the second or third, but still we should, just for people who are interested, these are the top 10 or rather second to 10th contractors in size. Is after KRIDL. These are the names of the contractors and the amounts spent on them, which is also pretty good amounts between 2017 to 2020. Just to have a quick understanding of what are central projects. Central projects typically have, so this chart, don't worry about reading this chart right now. I'll just tell what it means. That the central projects are more skewed towards new buildings, so roads, solid waste management, and lakes, while the ward projects are skewed around new buildings and parks, obviously, which makes sense. Let's see completion rate of projects, wards versus non-wards. So non-wards completion rate is right now running very low, central projects. Ward project completion rate is also very poor, which is below 40%. And this is last 4 years of data. If you see payment delays between central projects and ward projects, it is quite a different story. The central projects are relatively much faster in payments, maybe because the size of the project is bigger, and those are non-KRIDL contractors, or whatever the reason is. So about 200 days for central projects and 450 days plus for ward projects. This is the average payment delay of a bill to a contractor over the last 4 years. Now I've taken, instead of taking all the years, because the last year is very recent, so we excluding last year, so if you take up to March 2019 projects, which is 2 years older than 2 years approval time, we would expect that these projects would be having a higher completion rate. But if you see at the bottom, health, CCTV, toilets, lakes, parks, religious and new buildings, the open projects, open percentage is 30% to 95%. And this is the situation of projects which are more than 2 years old, approved 2 years ago. So the situation is not that the data is for the recent projects only which are skewed. Even older projects have got a high open rate. Of course, there are some categories like culverts and drains which have got only 10% open projects for projects which were approved 2 years ago and more than 2 years ago. So 90% projects have been completed there. So I think that's it from my side. The forum is open, Subbu, for any discussions.
Thanks, Sanjay. That is a lot of insight into the way the finance are managed in BBMP. Now, looking at this, all this data, it looks, the priorities of BBMP are really, skewed. Now, in the last 1 year, we are seeing there is so much need to run the efficient health facility or health administration in BBMP. But the BBMP is awfully short of the facilities, the infrastructure, so much so that they depend heavily on the private hospitals, clinics to support their health initiatives. And in fact, the RWS also chipped in a big way in providing masks and many other help to BBMP. And BBMP acknowledged that the RWS are really a big support to them. Now, looking at it, Srikanth, the question is to you. How is this, the priorities are set in the BBMP? How they decide how much should be spent on drains, culverts and all that? I mean, 70% is spent only on those things and very little on things like drinking water or, health aspects. So any insight into that?
Obviously, it's not official, Subbu, but
yeah.
We are on a public forum, but I don't have any problem in making this statement. Roads and drain projects constitute the biggest chunk. And there is a very clear reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
Big projects, big money. In fact, somebody has, I think, asked a question on the Q&A window also. Why are potholes not being fixed? Because if you fix a pothole, it doesn't take too much of money. When there's not too much of money involved, there is no interest on the part of the elected representatives to do it. So the reason why roads and drains are the primary projects that are taken up is for two reasons. Reason number one is these are usually big projects. You can say 2 crores, 4 crores, 5 crores for a road project or a drain project.
Right.
And big project, as I said, the reason why they choose big projects is because then they can make good money out of it as well. Number one. Number two, this is one insight that I got from somebody I was talking to. Drain projects, interestingly, are the ones where it's virtually impossible to figure out whether work has happened on it or not. Now, I lay this challenge over to people. Drain is nothing but our stormwater drain. Nama Rajakalve, nama idu charandigalu illi, nama roadside nalli adu torsa ide adu. So these are the ones where these projects are supposed to happen. Now, can you actually open a drain and see whether work has happened or not? You can't. And that's the reason why those projects are taken up. From whatever,
a lot of money goes, lot of money goes down the drain, literally.
Literally, it goes down the drain, right? Where even in road projects, you still have to show something. We understand that in road projects also, if you show 100, work actually happens for 20 or 30. In drains, it's free. For 100, you can actually do 0, and the rest 100 can go off to anybody that they want to pay. So if this amount of money is being spent on roads and drains, it's a very simple thing, right? Visibly, we should see an improvement in our stormwater drain or in our roads. Do we see that? There lies the answer. So it's an easy way of bringing up big projects, siphoning off money, and having a good, happy life ever after. So that's a very simple explanation, Subbu.
Very interesting. There are about 10 people who have raised some questions in the Q&A. Maybe you can take one by one.
So Subbu, what we can do is probably we can take one question from the Q&A window, and there are hands going up. We can alternate between one person from the chat window and one person from the hands that are being raised.
Okay. Anju had some questions on the property tax. She has more questions also. Anju, you want to ask some question?
Yeah, I think Anju, no, I think Anju, we have to unmute. Okay.
Okay, there are many questions from Juhi also. Juhi,
yeah, by the way, we have allowed Anju to talk. Anju, you can ask your question.
Thank you for this series. It's really interesting. So I was wondering, I went to pay my property tax. I mean, I tried to do it online, and the rates have been changed. The taxes have been changed. They've been increased. But recently there was an article in the newspaper that said they're not going to increase it this time. So I was wondering how to figure that one out. And
yeah, it's again
all these things that BBMP is doing, isn't there some way at a citizen level we can contribute and try and find them accountable or try to figure out what, I mean, basically improve our city? That's it.
So 2 questions, Anju. First question, the answer to that is, to our knowledge, there's no hike in the tax, but they have reclassified a few zones. So if you are in a particular zone and if you move to another zone, then your property tax automatically goes up, not because the property tax itself has been hiked, but you move from one zone to another. But having said that, we need to look at it in detail. This is our understanding. Like in everything else, their whole process is really, really opaque. There's nothing which is put out in the public domain, so very difficult to check on that.
With regard to what BBMP has tried to communicate is they have expanded the net. They have included more properties. That's how they are going to collect more property tax. But it is just a plan.
No, but I think she's saying that her individual property tax has also gone up, and that could be because of the change in the zones. But yeah, in general, the level of property tax collection is probably at a level of 15-20% of what it should be. We can only hazard a guess about how much the inefficiency is, but we should be collecting more. But that's for a separate discussion altogether. With regard to the second part, Anju, as citizen groups, we were all trying to bring accountability to BBMP. It was not happening at all. And that's why we started BNP. BNP, we believe, is the answer to all of this. Let's get good citizens in. Let's bring professionalism in. Let's bring a proper, transparent approach. Things will automatically change. And that's what BNP is all about. So the reason why we started BNP is because BBMP is mismanaged, misgoverned. It's a corrupt organization. All the existing parties are looting the system dry. So we wanted to ensure that that loot stops ASAP. And that's the reason why we have started Bengaluru Navanirmana Party with an objective of getting good citizens elected as corporators and getting them.
Thank you so much. And there would be some details on your website or something on how to join your group or be
Sure.
more informed.
Yes, you can go to our website and volunteer on the volunteer section.
Thank you so much.
Johi, I wanted to ask some questions. Are you there, Johi?
I think Juhi has not raised her hand, but probably we can take the question.
Oh. Then there is Shyam Sundar.
No, so Juhi has a question, Subbu. She's
Oh,
asking,
okay.
where is the most recent data of BBMP's earnings and expenses?
Okay.
What is the role that property taxes play in BBMP's finances, and how can the collections be improved?
Right.
Again, we have already answered this in this presentation itself. We don't have data for BBMP's earnings and expenses for the last 3 years because they have not been prepared. If it is prepared, they will put it out. They have not prepared it. So till the time they prepare it and audit it, in fact, even the 2018 accounts were actually signed by Anil Kumar. Almost 3 years after. So Anil Kumar was a commissioner last year. So imagine 2018 accounts getting signed in late 2020. So that's the level of misgovernance that's been going on there. And what is the role that property taxes play in BBMP finance? A very important role. Today, it constitutes almost about 15% of the overall budget of BBMP. Should be much higher, and we can collect a lot more. But even with this money, we can actually do a lot of work. So there's nothing much to add there. Today, we are collecting about, I don't know what that current number is. My estimate is currently it must be about 1,700, 1,800 crores. It easily could be 4,000, 5,000 crores, if not more. But even with 1,800 crores, we can actually put that to good use. Shall we take a question from the, yeah, Radhakrishnan has raised his hand. Radhakrishnan, you can unmute and ask your question.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So thanks for the opportunity. I think, the presentation was interesting. Just one quick question. There was a mention that BBMP's balance sheet or whatever looks to be healthy. But one of the, one red flag, which personally I feel, I am a person in the finance profession. So, maybe my experience kind of always makes me question that they have such cash balances. How do we know the balances are actually there? If you remember, the Satyam incident or the others, there was a recent Wirecard fraud, it's a fraud in a German company. They had a particular fraud of, a couple of $2 billion of cash in the books, and it was not found finally. They filed for bankruptcy in early 2020. So one of the things that I see as a, is that when there is such a high cash balance or a bank balance, whatever you want to call it, it is definitely a cause for concern, because, as a person who has worked in this field, bank reconciliations can be very, very disturbing.
Sure.
And many frauds happen, in this area. So they can show all the cash that they want, but does the cash actually exist? I don't know how we verify, because I don't know if their accounts are audited by, external auditors.
It's not audited by CAG. In fact, through the BBMP Act, we're trying to bring that in. There's been no internal audit for the last 11 years now.
So no internal audit, no external audit by any professionals. Okay, like any of the profession, the chartered accountants, etc. And the other thing also that you mentioned, where there are so many projects and delays in spending and unpaid amounts. Okay, so it's actually, see, no contractor will be able to wait for 400 days and 300 days. So the odds are, again, a particular term called teaming and lading. It's a kind of a fraud. But, all this is possible unless there is, proper governance and tracking. So, personally, I feel a little uncomfortable looking at these kind of numbers. I mean, that you have been able to put something up is definitely, an eye opener. But whether whether, the underlying reality is consistent with
No,
what is
understood.
being
Yeah, understood,
is a
Radhakrishnan.
question. Yeah,
No, understood.
that was my point.
There are
And
no answers to it.
how can citizens or how can stakeholders enhance the transparency, accountability? I think those are questions, because I think there is also this organization called Janagraha which has done a lot of work
Yeah.
in the area of
Radhakrishnan, actually, we have to move on with there are a lot of other people
Yeah,
waiting
so
to
please,
ask questions. So no easy answers. Is that 4,000 crore and possibly it could be 5,000 crores now? Is it real or is it fictitious? Is it another Satyam scam? Satyam was also about, he had Ramling Raju had cooked up about 5,000 and odd crores of fictitious bank balances. Is that the case? Difficult to say, right? We can only see what is there that we have available and comment on that. Going purely on the books, it looks healthy, right? Now, is it really there or not? We won't know, right? Second, contractors, it's a deliberate methodology where they delay payments to the good contractors and make quick payments to the other types of contractors. So good contractors are deliberately kept out of the system. The nefarious contractors are the ones who are allowed to come in as well, right? So those issues are there. And lastly, with regard to how can we improve it, again, as I said, we got to elect good people. Enough, we can push for transparency. We can get good citizens elected as councillors who can go and ask the right questions in the council. Without that, and be part of a standing committee and get deeper into the finances. And imagine if there are professionals like us getting in there and doing it. Imagine how much of surgery we can do there. That's what the city is missing and lacking. So without trying to be very, very salesy and making a sales pitch here, please vote for BNP. That's the only way we can bring good governance to the city. We'll move on to the next question, Subbu.
Yeah, there is one question in the chat box by Vivekanand. He says, I heard like about 50% of the projects must be given to Care Ideal. Is it being a government organization, is it correct? I think this is about the latest amendments to the Care Ideal Act.
Yeah. Care Ideal is the biggest fraud enacted on Bengaluru. Care Ideal is a government organization. BBMP has at least accounts till 2018. Care Ideal doesn't even have accounts till that time. And it's far, far before that. And Care Ideal doesn't have any expertise. It takes contracts and in turn outsources to other contractors and retains a commission in between. Care Ideal has been blacklisted 2 times in the past by Social Welfare Department and BBMP. Care Ideal officials have been found with cash in their homes in cahoots with we don't know who. Care Ideal was formed to develop some rural infrastructure. It's called Karnataka Rural Infrastructure Development Limited. So there is nothing about Care Ideal that actually makes sense. There's only one thing about it that makes sense. It's a conduit which is used by the MLAs and the state government to siphon off money. There's nothing else that we can think of. And even recently, there's one more amendment they've brought in the Karnataka Transparency in Public Procurements Act, where they've given a blanket exemption on projects up to 2 crores. BNP is filing a PIL in the High Court against that. We want this loot to stop ASAP. Care Ideal is the biggest fraud that's been enacted on Bengaluru and we the Bengaluru citizens. Sanjay, you want to add anything?
And just to answer your specific question, there is no minimum limit of 50% like that. In fact, there is no minimum amounts specified in that 4G clause. It is only for specialized works. Government can go to Care Ideal, which only Care Ideal can execute where they have the specialization. We see that Care Ideal is getting contracts all over the place and which they further subcontract to other contractors. So it's a complete scam.
I think about 50% of the contracts in last 5 years have gone to the Care Ideal.
Yeah, it has gone, but there was no mandate of
Right.
50%, which the question was asked that is there a mandate of 50%?
In fact, usually it's the other way around. You shouldn't be giving more than 1 or 2% of your project without tender. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
Giving these kind of projects without tendering is the biggest scam that we can think of. Anyway.
Okay, there are some more questions in the Q&A.
Subbu, now we'll go to one person on the. Lot of people have raised their hands.
Okay.
So we have Menon. We have unmuted Menon.
Yeah,
Menon.
the question is there a mechanism for auditing BBMP a structural mechanism? Does it exist?
Yeah, see, the acts do specify that the audit has to happen on time, etc. It's not happening. So you just look at it if it's a company, if it's a corporate. Let's say if it's Infosys. In the case of Infosys, there's nothing which is preventing them from doing all these same kind of things, right? But if they do it, what will happen? The shareholders of Infosys will go to court, and the Infosys directors and the people who are running Infosys will be hauled up, right? But there they have shareholders who go to court and do all of that. Here, who are the shareholders? There are about 1.3 crore people who are the shareholders of
Can
BBMP.
CAG not be involved in this?
Not CAG has not been involved in this. So there's rampant misgovernance happening. The reason why it's happening is because we are not asking the questions. 1.3 crore shareholders of BBMP who pay property tax and other cesses, these people remain silent, and hence everything goes.
Is there any purpose in sending writing to CAG?
Yeah, but CAG has to be mandated, right? So we can do. We have gone to the court also. We're going to the court, but the court system has its own limitations as well, right? So as BNP, we have initiated some of these things. We are going to court against KRADL. We'll be going to the court on accounts being filed on time and being made in the public domain, etc. But step by step, right? We also have our limited bandwidth. With limited money, people, resources, there's only so much that an organization like BNP can also do. But step by step, we are trying to bring about that change.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Subbu, shall we take another question from the chat window?
Yeah, chat window, it doesn't have. We can look at the Q&A.
Oh, yeah, Q&A window. Yeah.
There are Shyam Sundar. One of the main issues in Bangalore is about potholes. What could be the main reason for this? I think this is not directly connected with today's theme. And
Plus, it's been answered already. Pothole means
Yeah.
no money to be made. So
right,
it doesn't get
exactly.
taken up.
There is one question by John Abraham. In the previous belief sessions, we have explained that in our ward committees, the MLAs is part of it for the Karnataka, which is why the corporators are by the mercy of the MLA. But in this session, you have explained that the BBMP isn't dependent on the state. And okay, this is just a
But just to clarify that, Subbu, I don't think we said that BBMP is dependent on the MLAs even in the previous sessions.
Yeah.
MLAs have two roles. Right now, as per the BBMP Act, they have two roles to play in
Yes.
BBMP. One,
Right.
they have a vote when it comes to electing the mayor. So that's role number one. Role number two is a newly formed committee. Consultative committees have been constituted, which is more for coordination across wards.
Yeah.
Nowhere in the BBMP Act does it give any right to the MLA to allocate funds to a ward or determine which projects are to be taken up. So all these are to be taken up by the ward committees in conjunction with the corporators to be approved in the BBMP council and then executed under the supervision of the ward committee and the area sabhas as per the BBMP Act. But the MLAs play a role because the party structure determines that. A BJP corporator has to listen to the BJP MLAs. A Congress corporator has to listen to the Congress MLAs and so on. That is the problem that happens.
That
if
is
they- yeah.
Second part of the question of John, and also that is similar to a question by Arvind Chandra, who asks, how will BNP break the contractor, BBMP engineer, corporator MLA nexus?
There is no nexus that we need to worry about at all. If you are able to make things transparent. In fact, just as of last week, we met up with a contractor association also. In fact, all of them want transparency, right? All of them, the moment you put out a tender and you really put it out in the public domain and you call for a lot of people to bid for projects, automatically things will be correct. The problem today is many of the projects don't even go through the tendering process. It's all done very opaquely and it's all done in a way which is convoluted, which then the MLAs use to their advantage to favor their own contractors. If transparency is 50% of the problem solved. Today, we are already seeing that in wards where we are taking it on the ward committees, the list of projects that are there, already the assistant engineer is under pressure saying, oh, okay, you already have this information. They have to be very careful. Yeah. So the more we make things transparent, the more we make it difficult for any kind of a nexus to build up. So that's the simple answer to it. Hats off to Sanjay and team who are now putting in more and more efforts into that this thing, and we will keep building more and more insights. If we keep putting it out in the public domain, there is no way
Yeah.
we can have this
There's
level
one
of
question. One question by Bhuvaneshwari Subramaniam: is the government school primary Anganwadi installed funded by the ward? If so, can we plan for funds for schools on ward committee meetings?
So Anganwadis come under the state government. Most of the schools, government schools, come under the state government. There are only a very few corporation schools, BBMP schools, which come under BBMP. Rest of them do not come under BBMP, and hence the ward level budget cannot be allocated for that. That has to directly come from the state government's budgets and their accounts.
Okay, there are similar questions, so we can skip them. And
Shall we go to one person in the
yeah.
Vasu Venkatramana? You can unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
ಸರ್ ನೀವು ಕೇರ್ ಐಡಿಯಲ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅದು ಕೇರ್ ಐಡಿಯಲ್ ಟೆಂಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೋ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟರ್ಗೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಬಂದ ಜನರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೋ?
ಅವರು ಇಷ್ಟ ಬಂದು ಅವರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್. KRIDL ಗೆ ಅವರು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದು. And they in turn, and once it goes into KRIDL, it's a black box. Nobody knows what happens.
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇದೆ ನಂಗೆ, ಇದೊಂದು ಇದು ವಿಜಿಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತಾ KRIDL ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಇದರೊಳಗೆ ಇದರ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೌ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್?
So Vasu, I think I answered this question earlier. If BBMP is opaque, KRIDL is even more opaque. BBMP, at least 2018, we were able to pull out some accounts and some details. KRIDL, we can't even get that.
ಇಲ್ಲ ವಿಜಿಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೆ.
ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು KRIDL.
ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್.
KRIDL ಆಡಳಿತ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ನಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹೇಗೆ ಅವರು ಅದು ಆಡಳಿತ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು.
ಹೇಳುವಾಗೆ ಹೇಳೋರಿಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳೋರಿಲ್ಲ ಅದ ಕಥೆ ಅದು.
ಸೊ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಮಿಲಿಟರಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ MES ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಈಚ್ ವರ್ಕ್, ಆ ತರ ಇದ್ರೆ ವಿದೌಟ್ ಟೆಂಡರಿಂಗ್ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಕೊಟೇಶನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೂ ವಿತ್ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಬೌವ್ ದಟ್, ಬಿಲೋ ದಟ್, ಆ ತರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸರಿ. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ KRIDL is complete is a conduit for corruption, as you said.
It is absolutely. So there is no reason projects should be, see, there are only two reasons why projects should be given without tenders. Reason number one, there is an emergency type of a project. Let's say during flood times, during disaster times, where they have to give out a contract and you can't wait for a tendering process. So that's one scenario. Second scenario is there is a particular type of work which is so specialized that there are only one or two contractors who can actually do it properly. These are the only two instances where projects should be given out without a tender. But 99.99% of the BBMP projects do not fall under this category. So there's no reason to give it without a tender at all. And we all know why it's being done.
Yes,
So,
I have suggestion that if we can have like a scale of rates was developed by military contracts, MES, something like that, if it can be implemented in this.
No,
then
for that we'll have to get inside BBMP to do it.
yes, that's the suggestion I made.
Can't do.
sure. No, Vasu, ನಾವು ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕೆಲಸಗಳು ಮಾಡಬಹುದು.
ಹೌದು.
ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಅದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಗೆಲ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಗೆದ್ದ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. So there's no other solution to that, Vasu. We can keep fighting only so much from outside the system.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, there are some more questions in the Q&A. There is one by Mr. Vishwanath Rao. It's a long question. Mr. Vishwanath, can you ask the questions in a brief one sentence?
Yeah, we can go with other questions in the meantime.
Yeah. Raviraj asks, is there any case filed against BBMP about audit issue by the public interest? I think as far as I know, there is no such PIL except what we're planning to do.
Yeah. By the way, Pradeep Nair has a question. What is the source of fund for BNP for approaching courts, etc.? We don't have any source of fund. We have a group of lawyers who also are well-meaning. They also have social interest in mind. So we work with some leading lawyers with whom we have a good relationship. They are doing it pro bono for us. Right now, there's a case going on in the Supreme Court. Now we'll be filing a case in the High Court also. We are blessed to have good lawyers, top lawyers from National Law School who graduated from National Law School, etc., who run firms. But part of their social responsibility mandate, they are helping us out on that front. knowing that BNP is a very professional organization and it's a good cause that we are fighting. So that's the answer to Pradeep Nayar's question. Shall we go back to the Ravindra Singh can.
Yeah, those who have raised the hands, you can.
Excuse me.
Hi, Shrikant. Thanks a lot. Let's say what I was just going through your balance sheet, what you showed. Now, who takes that financial decision over the balance sheet? Is it the BBMP commissioner or the mayor? Like you show that we have a surplus of say 23,000 crores with us, and we have a bank payable of say 1,200 crores. So obviously, this bank payable will also be calling in for an interest. Even if it's a 10% interest, BBMP must be paying 120 crores as bank interest. So who takes a call to offset this, if at all that can be done?
Yeah. So Ravindra, the quick answer to that is, like you have a finance minister for the central government and a finance minister for the state government. In BBMP council, you don't have ministries like that, but you have what are called as standing committees. So there is a standing committee for finance and taxation. It comprises 11 councillors. They are the ones who jointly have to take a decision under the chairmanship of the mayor. That group, instead of one minister, you have a standing committee for finance and taxation. They are the ones who look into it. But honestly, they don't have a clue. They just go on the basis of what their masters in the state government tell them. That is the reality. But technically speaking, theoretically speaking, and if we have truly independent, good corporators in BBMP, a standing committee that gets constituted for finance and taxation is the one that takes a decision on all these aspects. It's the equivalent of the finance ministry.
Great, thanks. Because as one gentleman was pointing out that whether we do really have that much of cash, I don't know, maybe that particular cash must be prepared based on the March 31st year ending. So that must be the bank statement of cash surplus. So that should be coming in on 1st of April. So if that is the amount of cash, why do we have a bank outstanding in that case? And whom do we approach to offset that, if at all?
It's not just the bank outstanding, right? Bank loan, you get interest and then you repay interest. That's okay. Even the contractors are not getting paid 4,000 crores, but contractors are crying hoarse for many, many years, right? So there's something obviously dramatically wrong.
Contractors anyway have done the work; they need to be paid.
Correct.
So that is one thing. But bank is something like, say, we have a liability towards them, and we're just paying
No.
servicing
Hold
the
on.
bank with an interest.
Hold on, Ravindra. Let's say you deliver a service to a corporate. I don't know where you work. We all keep working with one another. If a corporate tells you that you provide me service for developing a website, right? And say that we'll pay you 5 lakhs, but we'll pay it to you after 3 or 4 years. Or rather, they say that we'll pay you in 90 days, but they pay it to you after 3 or 4 years, citing that we don't have money. Is that acceptable for you? And
no, like
will a good service provider ever offer service to that agency again?
Yeah, definitely not. The contractor needs to be paid on time. Then only you'll get good contractors or people working on time.
Yeah, so I would
when I say you have a cash surplus, you neither service the contractor, either offset your bank interest.
Not offset the bank. I'm saying, Ravindra, what we are saying is first, the high priority has to be paid off.
Shrikant, we lost you. I think your connection seems to be a problem.
Yeah.
You must be reconnecting.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can take other questions in the meantime.
Yeah. In fact, we don't have much time left now. Let us go through others. Like I see Subbarao Jaykumar. Do you have a question, Subbarao? Then there is Luke Dhanraj. You can unmute and ask your questions. And then there is Jacob Paul. Jacob, are you there? There is a hand raised by Achyuta Rao also. Okay.
Yeah, Achyuta Rao's question was asked on chat also. It was answered.
I think only the host can unmute him. I think we'll have to wait for Shrikant to come back.
No, let me try. Is it possible? Yeah.
Can I speak?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
can hear you.
This is regarding our ward. We are staying in the Begur ward. That
Mhm.
all the roads and culverts are in a very bad shape. And
Yeah.
I have been after this local corporator and MLA for past 2 years because somehow they give very pleasant answers, but work is not being done. So, what is how I should get my work done for my ward? So, what best can be done?
Do you
Because
have a team in Begur, Chitrao?
yeah, I am in contact with is all elected representatives and other apartment. I am from Nandiwoods apartment, and we neighboring people also make dharna and every time and all.
I think if
So
you can
that,
form a team out of BNP members and volunteers.
yeah, I have recently joined
Yeah.
because I'm secretary of this
Subbu, there is already a
Nandiwoods
team
apartment.
there. Sorry, I'm back
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I
dropped
am
off.
in socially connected to most of the
Okay.
residents around this. We
Right.
keep on.
By the way, Subbu, am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, Begur, we have a strong team. I think
Yes.
this question is not for this session. You have to
But
take this up in the ward committee.
Yeah.
Take the data from the citizen portal along with the rest of the team and go
Okay.
and ask, where is this money? Right? I think that's the best way. That's what we are doing in our ward. That's the next
Okay.
level. Instead of doing dharnas, show data, let's take it to the press media. Once that pressure starts building up, they will.
Even
do it.
I was
But
up
anyway,
to the press also. Press also.
yeah, but
the
yeah, but
journey
Achutha Rao,
and
I think, yeah, but this is a separate matter of a separate conversation. Let's take
Okay,
it up
okay.
offline. Specific issues, let's take it up separately. We have a BNP Begur team, strong team at that.
Yes.
We'll
Yes,
we'll
yes.
get them to take this up.
I am
there.
also part of it.
Yeah.
I
Correct.
should get
I
connected.
will-
Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll take it up
Yeah.
there itself.
Okay. This is out of box question, I think, for
Sure,
you.
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, today's session is a different topic, so that's why. Yeah. Sorry about
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I think Luke Dhanraj wants to ask a question. It is muted.
Yeah,
Luke,
I'm able to.
Luke.
I'm now. I can now talk.
Yeah.
See, Srikanth, my question is a little fundamental. When we know so much of misdeeds are happening with money and so much of corruption is happening, why is it that our country does not, the law of the land does not have enough tooth to get into this? We are paying so much of salary to people like big departments like Comptroller of Accounts, Auditor General of India, etc., etc. Now, what exactly is happening in our country?
So again, Luke, out of syllabus question, right? This is more, as you said, it's more fundamental. Now, all that we can say is that this mismanagement is happening across the country in many, many places. We can only be concerned about what's happening in BBMP. The only thing that we can say is that if we have a few people, good citizens getting into BBMP, we can at least ask the right questions from the inside and start putting pressure from inside the system. That's really what we are fighting for. Beyond that, larger issues we'll reserve for later for a different forum.
I think Suresh Prakash has raised his hand for a long time.
Yeah.
Suresh, we can ask you a question. Suresh, you can ask your question. Your mic is unmuted.
Okay. We'll go to otherwise Jacob Paul. Jacob Paul, you can ask your question.
Yes, Srikanth, my question is more related to my apartment. Okay, I saw the income and expenditure and I also saw the balance sheet. BWSSB has collected around 5 crore from Purvankara to connect water for us. Under what head will I see it?
You won't see this here. BWSSB is a different agency altogether. The money that you pay to BWSSB, that goes directly to BWSSB, and their accounts are not even shown because they come under the state government. It all gets clubbed under different headings.
So it's not under
BWSSB
any
should be-
ward.
It doesn't, it might come under a ward, but that money that goes directly goes to BWSSB. BBMP has got nothing to do with that.
Got it. Okay, I got it. Okay.
Can I talk now?
Sure.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I have a question for Sanjay. Sanjay, is there a possibility?
We lost Suresh.
We lost you.
I think he has gone out of network.
Suddenly dropped out.
Oh,
No,
He's
Suresh,
back.
you can
Can
ask
you
your
hear-
question.
yeah. This is more of a question which is related to Sanjay, whose data has been quite helpful. It shows that the projects, more amount is spent on the road and the culverts. Okay. Now, with respect to roads, I find that in many places in and around Bangalore, same road is repeatedly asphalted. Is it allowed to be done? Is it allowed to be done in 1 year span that the road is being asphalted 4 times or 5 times, and then they are just spending the money on that? Is it allowed to be done?
Of course not. The conditions in the work order, etc., and the quality certificates which we have seen till now, they mandate a certain quality, which they test in the lab also. After all that testing is done and test reports are uploaded. But we all can guess why the quality is so poor, and there is no and because there is no monitoring, accountability, etc., they are scot free.
So just to show that they have completed 10 projects on the road, they keep asphalting the same road again and again, leaving the other roads in a very bad shape.
That could
is
be
a
because of
possibility.
priorities also, that certain wards are high priorities, certain wards have VIPs, so they keep asphalting the same roads again. That could be one reason.
But is there a record which we can extract from the set of records what we have that this is the same project done? Possibility? No.
Yeah, actually, we are trying to geotag, extract the geotagging of the road projects. Work is in progress, and we might be able to do that one day, that we might be able to fetch repeated works on the same segment.
Because in our ward, we noticed that, in my observation, I asked in the board meeting also, that so many road projects have been done. 8 times the road here has been done. 6 times it has been done there. Somehow I could match the number, saying that 8 times it was done. Devachipanahalli Road, 4 times it was done the other side of the Vijaya Bank Road. And then like that, I added to all and the number matched. But then the other roads are equally bad. So we are unable to know why these funds, why is it again and again repeatedly given for the same road to be done? Same road.
Yeah.
So
Suresh, I think
the larger answer is the citizen vigilantism, right? We've got to be vigilant as citizens. So it got nothing to do with the BBMP financing or budgeting, right? It's more about how money gets looted at the local level. So
yeah, correct.
Let's attend ward committee meetings. Let's look at the citizen portal. Let's look at the budgets. Let's ask questions.
Okay, we have time just for one more question. Maybe we can go to Mr. Subbarao Jayakumar, who has raised the hand for a long time. Subbarao?
By the way, there is one question from Harish Moras in the Q&A window, Subbu. How to get new development projects fund because corporated term was finished? Just because the corporated term is finished doesn't mean that we won't get budget. In fact, as we speak, a new budget has been approved in BBMP. Ward level projects are getting approved. You have to, instead of the corporator, you just have to coordinate with the nodal officer. So let's go and ask the nodal officer. In our ward, we are asking, share us details of the projects, and we want to supervise all the projects, etc. So let's go and ask them the questions. Which projects have been approved, which are going to be executed, etc. So it's still possible.
Okay. I think Mr. Subbarao has to be unmuted.
Yeah, Subbarao, you can unmute, and Subbarao Jayakumar.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, please ask your question.
Yeah. See, recently in the month of December, actually, certain works which has happened, actually, there was double billing or without work, actually, bills have happened, actually. We tried the information through the RTI. They took such a long time. Finally, actually, they have given, yesterday, the informations have been given 200 pages. which we asked all the details, for which now the engineer and the corporator are coming to us stating that actually they want to discuss with us. But we want to further take it this information, because where the work is not done and the bills have been raised, for that actually we require your support and assistance actually from BNP. And certain works which has happened, actually still we are finding out the way out, how to dig out the information, wherein actually the officials are also not cooperating. Actually, when we raise the issue in the RTI, they are telling this book is not available, that is not available, like that they are telling. But still we are pursuing to get the information. Some 5-6 works actually they have given the information after a gap of 4 months actually after we raise, and constantly pursuing this matter actually. So which we are going to take up, and I'll take up separately these things. Actually, I require support from BNP.
Absolutely, Subbarao. We can, Jayakumar, we can do that. Yeah. We'll take that up separately.
I think we have to
By the way,
close.
Subbu,
Yeah.
we can probably quickly answer the questions in the chat Q&A window.
Okay.
So
Ashish
first
or
of- yeah, Sridivya Arun has asked, whole system is corrupted. Unless you have connections in the department, you cannot forget a contract, not even a government certificate. I don't agree at all on that. There are very efficient ways of doing things. We are also interacting with contractors. There are certain contracts that happen properly. If you have good people elected, you can bring in accountability and transparency. So we all think that contractor, there is a nexus and all that. We imagine a lot of things than, exist. It does exist, but not at the level that we think. We think that, the Contractors Association has something like 1,500 contractors. Out of them, hardly about 30-40 of them will be corrupt. The rest of them just want to live a normal life and do a normal business. We've been interacting with them also. So there's nothing, I think we imagine things. We imagine that the entire system is corrupted. It's not. There are a lot of officials in BBMP who are good. There are a lot of contractors who are good. But when you elect a wrong person, they have to listen to what that elected person says. And they can't do anything else going against them. So if you break that part, everything else can change. We are not saying that we'll eliminate corruption 100%, but there's a difference between 90% corruption or there's 10% corruption, right? So today there's 90% corruption. We can bring it down to 10% corruption, right? Which is beyond our control. But 90% we can actually get things done in a proper way. So
there's one question by Ashish. What exactly does non-wards mean? Example of a non-ward project. Maybe Sanjay can.
So Sanjay, yeah, you want to take it?
Yeah, actually, I answered this in the previous listing. Where it's non-ward are central projects like flyovers, white topping, which are spanning across multiple wards. Central projects. Ward are specific projects like local parks, etc.
Yeah, ward projects are projects that are contained within a ward. Non-ward projects are projects that cut across wards. Yeah. Then
okay,
just a couple of more questions.
There are some questions, but they're not on finance. So I think we limit our questions to the finance. So if there are no more questions, I think we should close.
Actually, my view is probably we can still answer the questions. I'm okay with continuing for a few more minutes to go. Okay. Ashish had a few questions. We can probably allow him to talk. Of course, we are at the end of the session. People who are, who want to leave can leave. People who want to ask questions can stay on as well. Subbu, unless you have a problem with that.
No, it's okay. Ashish already we answered his question.
No, actually, Ashish had 2 or 3 questions. He said all the funds, and
if I can,
probably he can pose the question.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. No, my question was, so the funds that are allocated from central and the state are all those untied funds that the BBMP can use it for whatever they want, or is there any mandate?
So there are certain funds that come from the state government which are meant for specific projects. When you say untied funds, you're saying not related to a specific project, right? Or a specific type of a project.
Yes, because if there are certain projects that the center or the state might want to be implemented at the ward level, right?
So there's nothing like that at all. So the money that comes from the central government, it has only one condition attached, that you should have ward committees and area sabhas. That's all that it says. It's part of the Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission, where the central government devolves funds directly to municipalities. And that is typically around 900 to 1000 crores currently. That has no conditions attached except for the fact that you need to have properly functioning ward committees and area sabhas. The municipality is free to use that fund for whatever it deems fit, as long as it has proper ward committees and area sabhas. The state government funds also technically are not tied to specific type of projects, but again, given the party influence, right? The Bengaluru development minister or the CM, they directly exercise control on some of these projects. That's why you'll find a lot of white topping projects happening. These projects don't make any sense whatsoever. There are thousands of kilometers of bad roads that are lying unattended to, and the best roads in the city, the outer ring roads, the good roads, they are dug up to do white topping. It just doesn't make any sense except for one reason. White topping projects run into 1,000+ crores, and we all know why it gets done. So those are all the issues. Otherwise, these funds are pretty much untied, as you call them, right? The municipality BBMP council has the right to determine what these projects are. There could be some specific projects that could be tied, but bulk of it are untied funds.
Thank you. My other question was, leaving aside the ward committees and the corporator, is there any other agency within the BBMP to monitor, like if all the projects that they're sanctioning are, completed? For example, you mentioned drain, right? No one knows whether the drain is properly completed or no. Like, is there anything that apart from the ward committee and the corporator who are supposed to be monitoring?
Yeah, there is a technical committee that has to be constituted. As per the Karnataka Transparency in Public Procurements Act, a technical committee has to finally, validate that also. But a lot of things are on paper. So all you need is a bunch of crooks to circumvent a well-designed system. So the system has a lot of things in place, but when you have people who do not want to do anything which is as per the books, as per the rules, as per the constitution, area sabhas have to be constituted. They don't. Now, who's to question them? Right? We have to question them. We are not questioning them. They don't want to do it, so they don't do it. It's as simple as that. So if you have good people who are willing to work properly with the system, a lot of things are possible. Just that the good people are not there in the system, and we, the citizens, are not questioning it. That's the answer, Ashish.
Srikanth, there are two hands still on. One is Salahuddin and another is Nalini Iyer. Maybe you can quickly go to them.
Yeah. Salahuddin, you can ask your question.
Yeah, thank you for unmuting.
What is the question?
Oh, sorry, I think there's again a mistake that happened. Salahuddin, you can unmute and ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. My question is regarding the road projects. As just now Srikanth said, good roads are being white topped and the bad roads are never touched. So what my question is there no way that they should consult the citizens of that area before taking up a project? And once the project is decided, will they give us notice to when to start, when to finish, what's the amount, and what's the quality? Can we monitor the quality of work, something like that? This is my question. And do they consult the traffic police before taking up the roads? Because many times what happens, they take up the project and the roads have become so unsafe, and the traffic police will fine us rather than correcting the problem.
Yeah, so Salahuddin, I think it's already been answered, and this is not a question relevant for today. Ward committee meetings are the answers. We have to coordinate, get the coordination done there. And yes, ward committees have the power to supervise. Area sabhas have the power to supervise. So which means citizens have the right to supervise projects that are going on. So just that we are not asking those questions. So please go through the citizen portal, take up these projects. Let's take up in the ward committee meetings. Let's ask those questions.
All right. Thank you.
Nalini Iyer. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. We have started two projects when the corporator was there. One is Colts Park, 4.5 crores was given. And a lot of things had to be done there. We had a lot of meetings with the project AE and all that. But except for a half-built toilet, public toilet inside, and a shredding machine shed has come, no shredding machine has come. That's for 4.5 crores, which the corporator himself told us that much of budget has come in for Colespark. Same so with SWD drain. Also, he told us 4.5 crores has come in. And we had a meeting with the AE and AEE, everybody there also. And we find it is not even come to square one, but minus.
Yeah.
I've
So again,
written.
Nalini, I think we have already answered this question. This is not relevant for this session. We have to take it up in the ward committee meeting, hold them accountable there. That's all that we
Ward
can do.
committee meeting, the EE is the ward committee meeting head now. Yes, I believe the EE for
Yeah.
all the wards in the constituency has no
I
time
understand,
at all.
Nalini. I know we have discussed this, so it's a different forum that we have to take it up.
Okay,
Right? This session is about the finances, right?
Okay.
So whatever money has been approved, it's been approved. You got to sort of hold them accountable in the ward committee meetings only.
Okay.
Ward committee meetings are not happening. That's what we discussed those in the last week's session as well. We'll have to take it up separately in a different forum.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Srikanth, shall we then close the session now?
Yeah.
So we are really run out of time now. And I think
Raviraj raised his hand. Raviraj has raised his hand. Probably we'll take one last question.
Okay.
Srikanth, I think a lot of informations are shared now. So just one curious, I just want to understand. Just with one example, can you tell me like how this money is looted? I mean, in the sense, we know that, okay, they will show something, they will take it up, but is there any, there should be some formality will be followed, right? To loot the money also.
Yeah, absolutely. So for example, if you go to our citizen portal itself, every project will have a proper work order, will have a photo before and after. There'll be an agreement with the contractor. Lot of those things will be there, right? So those things will keep happening. But the reality is, let's say a 2 crore project gets approved for a drain cleaning. Now what I can do is I can just take a photo of some random drain which is in bad condition and some other random drain which is in good condition. They show it as a before and after photo and then give work to a contractor. The contractor can be technically shown as having done some work. He'll even bring some equipment and 1 or 2 days have some token work done. So against 2 crores work, let's say they do only 2 lakhs worth of work. And then the 2 crore is paid to the contractor. And then the contractor in turn uses that money to pay back to whoever they need to pay it back to. That's how corruption happens. So now who is to determine whether 2 crores worth of work has happened really on the ground or not? I explained this earlier also. The reason why you will find a lot of drain projects, the 21,000 crore that's gotten approved and the 10,000 plus crores that has gotten executed in the last 5 years, a big chunk of it are roads and drains. And the reason is because there's no way to actually verify or validate by citizens whether it's done or not. And that's the conduit they use. So you show 2 crores worth of a project, deliver work for 2 lakhs or 20 lakhs, rest of it is paid, work is not done, gets distributed to as many people. So it's as simple. And then you create elaborate documentation. You have a proper agreement with the contractor, you have a proper work order raised, you have a proper before and after photo. So all those things are properly done. Right?
Yeah. So all this will be documented also, right, in the system?
Absolutely. They're all documented.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So there are
So
more.
one more hand has gone up.
Yeah, Harish. Yeah, Harish, can you please ask your question? You have to unmute yourself, Harish.
Yeah, my question actually regarding the same, the 2,000 crore or 2 lakhs spent actually, how to monitor that? And if you monitor and report, but your AE or your JC or whoever, it's not responding. So example, one project, 32 lakh they spent in the Kadagodi, they put the small around 500 meter and they use the old slabs and they washed and put the same and they put a geocode, everything old before and after. We escalated to Parameshwaraya. but there were no action taken on that. So how to deal those issues as a citizen point of view?
I'm very happy that you got yourself involved in that process, Hari. The only way to bring about accountability is to continue to attend ward committee meetings, continue to ask questions, continue to keep putting pressure. And the more people raise these questions, the more people who are aware, and the more people who are involved in putting pressure, the better are the chances that this won't happen. And as I said, ultimately, the best solution is get a good person elected. Much of the problems get sorted out there. You don't have to then sit on top of that person. I don't know whether you live in an apartment complex or an individual house, but speaking for us, for me, who lives in an apartment complex, if you have an estate manager who is genuine, efficient, and is not corrupt, 90% of the problem gets solved there itself. If you have a person who has an intent to siphon off money, every contract that he is giving out, we have to sit on top of that person. And very often, in fact, this has happened to me as well. In my own apartment complex, we had put out a system where we said any project that we call for needs to have at least 3 quotations. And you know what? The guy will actually get 3 quotations, same agency, 3 different names, and he will get a quotation. You know how I figured out that it was from the same agency, even though the names seem to be different? The funny thing is these guys are not very smart. They actually end up making the same spelling mistakes in all the 3 quotations. So while the letterhead is different, the quotations actually, you will realize that they're probably coming from the same person, because the spelling mistakes and all will be very, very similar, right? So there's a nexus that happens there, right? So if you have a good person, you don't have to keep sitting on top of that person again and again. Of course, you need to put in checks and balances, but you don't have to sit on top of that person. Today we have, for example, in my apartment, we have an estate manager who's very good. So we are able to then, and we are able to see the real thing, right? Where we used to spend 17,000, 18,000 on motors, it's happening now at 3,000 rupees. Of course, the scale is much smaller, but the principle is the same. So let's get good people in, and then let's have checks and balances built in. That's the best way. And on top of that, we the citizens should be aware, should be vigilant. We should be taking part in ward committee meetings and continuously asking those questions. We need to force transparency. So even if a BNP corporator gets elected, we tell this right up front. You all need to have you need to hold the BNP person who's gotten elected as a corporator accountable. The person needs to put things out transparently, needs to engage with citizens. And that's the best antidote to corruption. That's the answer, Harish.
Thank you.
Okay. I think now we have to wrap up. Sanjay and Srikanth, it's an excellent presentation and discussions. I think a lot of insights into the BBMP's financial management or mismanagement has come up. The 74th Amendment was done some 30 years back, which gave powers to the local bodies like municipalities and like BBMP, where it said it should be governed by the citizens of the city or the town. But unfortunately, now going by all these horror stories of BBMP, it's instead of the government of the people, by the people, for the people, it has become a government of politicians, by the politicians, for the politicians. This has to change. And this can only change if we citizens take matters to our hand and actually get inside the system and participate in the governance. And that is the aim of BNP. And thank you again, Srikanth and Sanjay, for the wonderful discussions. And also all the persons who asked the questions. It has been a very lively discussion, a lively exchange of question answers. And we welcome you for the remaining sessions of the Belief also, which is coming up tomorrow and again the next week. Yeah, please do participate. And thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.